Hi there, Junya here. Welcome to my channel. 7 months ago, I made a video about the difference between different kinds of rice flour. Glutinous rice flour, Mochiko sweet rice flour, white rice flour. And a lot of you guys liked that video. Here's one comment got my attention. It's from Chelsea. She said, "Hi, can you make a video about comparing tapioca starch, cassava starch, Mochiko flour, and glutinous rice flour?" I was watching someone make a sticky dessert using tapioca starch and I wonder if it would be good in making mochi since it has the same sticky texture. Alright, here you have it, Chelsea. Today I'm going to talk about all those starch from my kitchen I use often. First, we're going to talk about the starch she mentioned, cassava starch, tapioca starch. Actually, they are the same thing. Tapioca starch also can be called tapioca flour, cassava starch. But the tapioca starch not the same as the cassava flour. Both products are made from cassava root, but cassava flour incorporates the whole root, whereas tapioca flour is made up of only the starch part of the plant. In most recipes, cassava flour can be swapped evenly for tapioca, but the fiber content gives it slightly more thickened powder. Then we're going to talk about the cornstarch. Cornstarch, aka corn flour, commonly used as a thickening agent and works to thicken dishes to the desired texture. I also use this for the soup and baking. I would say probably cornstarch is the most starch I used in my kitchen. Next one is the wheat starch. You see the Chinese on the back because I got this from the Asian market. We Chinese like to use this to make 肠粉, sort of like noodles, add it into dessert. Like snowy mooncake I just made like a month ago. Wheat starch and cornstarch can be substituted in many recipes. The last one is our old friend, glutinous sweet rice flour, glutinous rice flour. If you don't know about this one, check out the other video. I talked about the difference between all different kinds of rice flour. Alright, I'm going to open the bags and move the camera forward. You can see the difference between all those starch and flour. Alright, we're gonna take a look about these two first. Tapioca flour and cassava flour. You can see from the back here, tapioca flour, aka tapioca starch. But the tapioca flour and the cassava flour, they're different, even they're made from the same thing. Alright, I got both flours, tapioca flour, tapioca starch, and cassava. First of all, you can see the difference between the color. Cassava flour is more like cream yellowish color. Tapioca flour is more like white. This cassava flour is made from the whole root, so it contains more fiber than tapioca starch. You can see the flour itself is not super smooth because of fiber. The tapioca starch, only the starch part from the cassava root, not the root itself, so you can see how smooth it is. Cassava flour is often considered the most similar gluten-free substitute to wheat flour, making it ideal for the baking. It has slightly nutty, earthy flavor. Tapioca starch, tapioca flour, most used in Asian desserts. They both can be used for thickening the soup or baking. I also have this, just the tapioca starch. I got this from the Asian market too. It should be the same like the tapioca flour made from the United States. I opened the bag. This is from Bob's Red Mill from the United States and this is from Asian market. They both are tapioca flour, tapioca starch. You can see the color, the texture feel like the same. I'm gonna add some cold water in. Use the cold water, mix it first. Yellowish cassava flour and cassava starch. Now add some hot water. Cassava flour, because it's made from the whole cassava root, you can see it's not as smooth like this tapioca flour. It is very clear and smooth. Pure wheat starch. It has good thickening properties and is often used in Asian cuisines for sauce, soups, and puddings. It can also be used as a thickener in baking, but it may produce a slightly heavier texture compared to other starches. Cornstarch, it is a common ingredient used as a thickener in a wide range of recipes. Cornstarch has excellent thickening powder and is often used in gravies, sauce, custards, and pies. It has a neutral flavor and produces a light and tender texture in baked goods. It's pretty similar like the wheat starch. Cornstarch, wheat starch. These two almost like the same. And this is tapioca starch. Tapioca starch has a smooth texture, elastic, almost like jello. It gives a glossy finish when used in cooking. Compared with this two, you can see how clear it is. Glutinous rice flour. When we make mochi, we always use glutinous rice flour and tapioca starch. Because glutinous rice flour is really sticky, if you add some tapioca starch in, will make the mochi taste a little bit chewy and elastic. Tapioca starch and glutinous rice flour. In most recipes, they cannot be substituted. You can see the difference here. Now you see the difference between all those starch and flours. Chelsea mentioned there's some kind of Asian dessert requires tapioca starch. If she can't use glutinous rice flour or Mochiko rice flour instead of the tapioca flour, the answer unfortunately is no. Especially in Asian desserts, Asian cuisine, if they required, we have to use the same kind of flour or starch in the recipe. You would think their texture looks similar. I mean, tapioca flour and glutinous rice flour, but the tapioca flour is not as sticky as the glutinous rice flour. It's more chewy and elastic. If you use this to make like a mochi bowls, it won't work. But you can use this to make tapioca bowls. I believe I have a video made the tapioca bowls. If you are interested, can go check it out. Alright, thank you for watching today's video. I hope it is helpful. Please like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye!